Alright guys, this is a big surprise for people. Lots of people here for Max. In this video, I actually have some big news to talk about with Max. Now, I don't know if it's actually confirmed. It's right now, I think it's a rumor. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. If you guys haven't already, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I would like for you guys to, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And, I'm trying to get to 1K subs. I'm actually over 500 subs. Thank you guys for the support. And, I think that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. So, let's go ahead and actually talk about this. So, yeah, apparently, this kind of came out of nowhere. This news was dropped today. I actually saw I think it was on a Bill Skyping video, I think. Was it Bill Skyping? I can't remember. I was one of the, YouTubers I'm subscribed to. I'm pretty sure it was Bill Skyping. I don't really have a lot of, YouTubers that post stuff or make, videos like this, like, daily. I mean, I have some YouTubers that talk about stuff, but not like this, like, daily. And somebody in one of the comments brought this up, and I was thinking, well, maybe I should make a video on it. And since then, more people have, talked about it. I actually was putting some groceries away and all when this happened, and I was in town, so, I was actually volunteering at Slackers again, so yeah, I was volunteering at Slackers. I actually had to watch over the store most of the day because, Kiefer had to go get somebody, from home, and then, when he, because this person can't drive either, or, maybe she can drive but doesn't have a car, I don't know. And then, we not only had that, but, I also had, he had to go back with her, because apparently she has kids, which I met her before, but forgot about that, and kind of forgot about her a little bit. She looked familiar, but I only seen her a few times. And I guess her kids missed the school bus and all, I guess, on the way home. I don't know, it's kind of weird and all that. So I was basically there pretty much throughout the day, and I had to kind of get some stuff done, and I couldn't really open, the place up, so I kind of just was organizing stuff and all that. So, yeah, and also I had a video, showcasing, the Hy-Vee stuff, but I'm gonna have to wait on that because my phone ended up dying, because I used my other phone. It ended up dying. So, twice, so I'll have to showcase it later. There's a few store videos like that. These are, some bigger ones. I know those are kind of some weird things to showcase, but I do it because I know people out there, want to keep the stuff alive as much as possible. That's why I do it. But that said, though, things have been crazy, so, yeah, I have not been able to make the video yet, but now I'm doing it, and, this video is actually what even surprised me, this news surprised me, and that apparently Max, there's rumors talking that Max is now going to rebrand their streaming service back to HBO Max. Which is honestly very shocking, because, first reason, a lot of, companies, when they tend to rebrand stuff, they don't really tend to care about the criticism, they just rebrand shit and then, leave it, like it is. They don't really care, or if they do, it takes them for ever, and by ever, I mean years, to fix something they screwed up. Apparently Max is gonna do it right off the bat. Second thing that surprises me is HBO Max is taking their shit all off of, their platform. Even Ben 10, is leaving Netflix, and it's not returning to this platform, even though, Warner Brothers, who owns the Ben 10 franchise, and, Cartoon Network, is also, part of this platform. I don't know what the hell is going on. I really do not know. I said the same thing, too, about Disney discontinuing Pixar in the past. They still have not done that. I think that since Bob Iger is back, I don't know if they're going to discontinue it. And of course, there's talk that, there's going to be a new CEO, at Disney. So, I don't know. Also, I guess I got people driving four-wheelers, too. So, yeah, got that. I'm surprised they're driving it at night, because I'm pretty sure they have school in the morning. I guess it could be fair, it could be high schoolers and all that. I had to make sure my dog wasn't chasing them and all that. Yeah, I'm doing this actually outside, because like I said, I couldn't get it done earlier, but I mean, it doesn't matter where I do the videos as long as the quality is, decent. That's all that matters, but... And I have, other videos I want to plan, too, and because, my phone keeps acting up, I can't upload them right off the bat. I have to wait for my phone to die and all that. And like I said, I think it's a YouTube thing because I've been having problems with my other phone, too, and all that, and other people have, too, and I've not been having issues with the other platforms. Even on Instagram, I've had problems with it, where, it wasn't letting me speak into it, and now it will, to make words appear and all for my, cards, and, thumbnails. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, I think Pixar is probably going to stay with Disney, and all that, because Iger, when Iger came and he was the one who bought Pixar, so he kind of wants to make himself look like a good guy, so shutting Pixar down would probably make him look like a total dickhead, even though he already is. People are kind of going back and forth on Disney and Warner Brothers on which company is worse, which is not a good sign. I was saying for a while that I think Disney was worse. Now Warner Brothers is kind of becoming kind of worse for me, I mean, at first, when this merger happened with Discovery, I was thinking, it's gonna be a big thing, but I was thinking maybe they could fix some of the problems, like Cartoon Network and all that. But it feels like they don't even give a shit about Cartoon Network anymore. They're shutting down they shut down their website. They shut down, their building and all that. I mean, they relocated them somewhere else, but it feels like they're shutting the brand down and all that, which is a very stupid thing, and all. I'm just like, Cartoon Network's been around forever and all that, so Cartoon Network has been declining for years now, but a lot of people would blame, David Lasley on that, but Cartoon Network has been in decline for years. That said, though, David Lasley is a CEO and can save the damn, brand, but he doesn't seem to care about it. I would say he doesn't seem to care about animation, but he doesn't seem to know what the hell he's even doing. He doesn't seem to know much about anything. It's like he was just put in there, I don't know, something's going on with his mind. I don't mean to say this, but yeah, something definitely feels kind of off about the guy. He's not really functioning right and all, in the mind, I don't know, it's possible his age maybe is affecting him, I know it sounds like a weird, thing to say, but I'm some of these, stuff doesn't feel like a normal person would make and all that. I think I've talked about this before, and he could have, some sort of illness, because unfortunately, when you get older, it happens. It really does. That said, though, he could also be just a fool and all that and doing this stuff. But a lot of the shit he's doing, if you look at it, it feels like he doesn't really have a direction he's going with it. It feels like he's just kind of all over the place with this shit. He's canceling live action shit, animated shit, and all that. He doesn't really have a mind for it. With people like Bob Iger, yeah, Bob Iger is a shitty CEO of Disney, but you can tell where he's going with the company, It's not in a good direction either, but you can kind of follow where he's going. David Lasley, you can't even tell where the hell he's even going. It's kind of like the last president we had in the United States. I know people are probably sick of, people talking about it, but it's true. Biden was kind of all over the place. He was switching shit left and right, he wasn't there, and all. And I think David Lasley could be the same way. I don't know. I haven't really listened to him, what he said. I watched one of the debates, and he seemed to be functioning fine. But I don't know. Something definitely ain't right about him. He's kind of he's kind of all over the place. I feel like he should be just push him out the damn door, or force him to retire or something. I don't know. I don't know, I don't think he even knows what the hell he's doing with Warner Brothers. I think he's just kind of, like, picking and choosing shit and all that, and, yeah, in fact, like, a lot of shit's getting damaged and all that, like, it really sucks, like, Warner Brothers, I will say, I do think, like I said, they were in decline for years. That's why this whole Discovery merger thing, I was hoping maybe they would be saved, you know, and all that, maybe it could save them a little bit, but, you know, but no, it seems like it's getting damaged even worse than it already is. It makes me curious what would have happened if Disney acquired, them. Because there was talk that Disney was actually, before they announced they were going to buy Fox, they were going to buy, HBO Max, or not HBO Max, I mean Warner Brothers originally. Which means they would have got control of Hanna-Barbera, they would have got control of, Cartoon Network and all that, and, I think it probably would have been a disaster, too. That said, though, I don't think there'd be as many shows that would have been canceled. But that said, though, there would have been a lot of disaster there. But I don't know. I as much as I hate that Disney acquired Fox, I will say a lot of that shit was also ran into the ground more than any other studio. I feel like them acquiring Fox, at least a lot of the shit was already damaged really badly. So I'm not as concerned about it, but still, I still don't want them to go and acquire shit and ruin it either. I'd rather it go to a company that, actually fixes the stuff. That's how this is too. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know what the hell is going on there, but the fact is that, like I said, they're going and rebranding, Max back to HBO Max, or there's talk that they're gonna do that, is very crazy. I don't know what the hell is gonna go on. I don't know what the hell is going on. Like I said, I think it's kind of weird and all that. They're releasing a bunch of their stuff on DVD too. So like I said, it doesn't feel like there's a mindset here. It feels like it's all over the place. Like it doesn't feel like like I said, David Lasley kind of knows what he's doing. He's kind of just all over the place, and all that. Like it doesn't feel like he has really the mindset of being the CEO and all that. A lot of these CEOs are here to kind of damage the damn companies, but, him specifically, like I said, he could have something kind of like I said, the last president, President Biden had, where, I feel like his mind's going and all that, but he's also younger. I looked up his age, I think he's in his 60s, so he's not that old. That said, though, I have had relatives that have had issues like that, to where their mind starts to go and they get older and all that, Heck, hell, my grandma, which I call Mamaw, her mind's starting to go, too, a little bit. It's not as bad, but it's starting to go, too. It just happens when you get older. That's why when you get to a certain age, you don't want to be in charge of something. That's kind of exactly how, that's why, at my dad's shop, and they kicked Frosty out of the workplace because he was in his 90s, or he was close to 90 at least. He was too old and he was messing the company up and all that. So they had to remove him from the boss, see, and all. I had to put Steve in charge and all that, and that's kind of the problem there. And it just happens. It sucks. It sucks to get older and all that, but that's kind of how it is and all that, and. But that's kind of the thing, though. I don't know what. Like I said, it could be just that's how he is and all that. But I just think again, it's weird how he goes. He just he doesn't feel like he has an exact direction he wants to put the company. He's just he's throwing a bunch of crap at the wall and seeing what sticks and what doesn't stick and all that. He doesn't feel like he has an exact plan or something and all that. But I don't know, but if they're gonna put HBO Max back, at least that's in the right direction with at least the platform. I still don't think the platform needs to exist. I think they should just shut it down and just put crap on Netflix or Hulu or something. Actually, not even Hulu, because I still think Disney's gonna shut Hulu down. I think they're gonna shut it down. That was another thing they happened to get when they bought Fox. They happened to get it, which I still think was a stupid idea as well. I'm what the hell are they gonna do with fucking Hulu? everybody's just gonna take their shit off of Hulu. Why the hell do they need fucking Hulu? Or better yet, they could have, like, built their shit on Hulu instead of removing it to, you know, fucking Disney Plus. They don't even need Disney Plus. They could have had fucking Hulu. Or they could have, like, kept Hulu and then down the road rebranded it as Disney Plus. I don't know. It's kind of weird, like, why the hell they did that. Yeah, but I say Iger is definitely focusing way too much on streaming, and I think it's gonna bite them in the ass and all that, but it's gonna bite a lot of these studios in the ass, but especially Disney. Disney is just, I mean, they're releasing some of their content on DVD, but most of it's going to their platform, and it looks like to me that they're acquiring a bunch of stuff because they're trying to make it look like they're doing good. It kind of, like, I want to bring this up too, I know I'm talking about Warner Brothers here, but this kind of ties into it. It feels like Disney, you know, is kind of, you know, in the situation like Ames is. Have you guys ever heard of the story of Ames? You know, the tragedy of Ames. Yep. So basically, the tragedy of the Ames department store is they were a big department store back in the day. This is actually, they went bankrupt and closed all their locations down in 2002. But apparently they were like Walmart, Kmart, and Target, which Kmart's pretty much gone now too. I mean, they're in the overseas, but they're pretty much gone too. What happened was they kept acquiring more and more stores, and although they were growing their company, they couldn't save themselves. So at the end of all of it, they collapsed on themselves because they were too focused on growing the company instead of, you know, trying to you know, focus on, you know, making money off the shit they had. And that caused the company to collapse. I have heard rumors that Ames might be coming back. I don't know. I do want to make a video talking about some of these store chains that might come back. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of wait on that, you know, but, that's kind of what I feel like Disney's at. Disney keeps acquiring shit and all that, and people are like, they're too big to fail and all that. They're too big to fail. They're not too big to fail. I mean, if they keep spending money on this shit, they're eventually gonna run out of money and all that, and that's why they're upcharging in their parks and all that, too. And that's probably why they released Snow White in the theaters, because they're desperate. They're fucking losing money here, and they need to sell their shit off. That's what they need to do. But the current CEO they have right now, he ain't gonna do that. You know, he ain't gonna do that, and that's kind of the problem. And that's the thing too. They also have, you know, Max here. Or I'm gonna keep calling it HBO Max, especially if its name's gonna be changed here. HBO Max, like, they have a deal with them and all that, where you can subscribe and all that, like, but you're gonna have to pay, like, you know, I think it's like 15 something, you know, $15.99 or something like that, which is not, like, too bad for, like, 2 platforms, you know. I mean, they're not as big as Disney. I mean, Disney and Universal are the 2 massive, you know, corporations. They have the most properties. They have, like, the most franchises. I don't know who's bigger. I don't know if it's Disney or Universal. Both are massive companies, though. Both of them own a ton of shit. You know, Disney has their film library, you know, because back in the day, you know, people would make deals with them. They were kind of like the Fox back in the day, so they had, like, movies like Inspector Gadget and all that wasn't actually owned by them. Like, they don't own Inspector Gadget. But it was made, you know, they made a movie with them and all that, and, you know, that's kind of what they were back in the day. And then I noticed when Iger kind of became the CEO, they kind of quit doing that stuff, because there wasn't as many movies being released under them. There were still some, you know, but not as many and all that. That's kind of, you know, how I think Universal might have been at one point, too. Because they even made some Dr. Seuss movies, too. Because before they even acquired DreamWorks, they made some deals with them, too, so I don't know, but they're both very massive companies. But the fact that, you know, HBO Max and, you know, Disney are, like, teaming up and all that, there's clearly something going on here with the platforms. They're clearly not performing very well. And people are like, well, Disney's got over 100 over 150 million subscribers. I'm like, if they really did, why are they acquiring more platforms? Why do they need to team up with HBO Max to save their asses? Clearly, they're not doing as well as people think they are. And I'm waiting for it. They keep getting hacked. Actually, I meant to make a video about this too. I'll just bring it up here. So there was a hacker for Disney too. And apparently, they had a hacker, and I guess this hacker got busted. I completely forgot about that, honestly. But there's this hacker, he got busted. Apparently, he's serving, I think, 5 years in prison. 5 years, and has to pay a fee, which is not a lot of years for something he did. To be fair, though, I think he didn't do a whole lot of horrible stuff. But I'm like, if one person like that can hack a company and find some secrets, imagine, what kind of secrets they can find. I'm not saying you should hack a company, especially going against Disney, but somebody could go in the company and fucking bust their asses and show how many subscribers they actually have. I'm just like, you should probably be more truthful. I'm just saying. Not just them, but Netflix too, They've gotten in trouble with this stuff in the past, but a lot of this shit kind of got buried underneath the bus. Because Chapek got in a lawsuit with this stuff and all that. And I think, they got passed and all that. But now I think, because I said technology is getting better and better. Well, and worse in some ways, like the AI and all that. Like, people are able to create accounts and all that. It's getting bad. And that's why I'm trying not to use, the online stuff as much, because I know this shit's gonna get bad. But because I make YouTube videos, I kind of have to do that. But I'm just like, they need to be careful. They need to be careful. I'm like, if they keep doing this shit, they're eventually gonna get busted. I think it's gonna happen. And I'm just like, I don't know, if I were Disney, I'd be like, if I were them, honestly, I probably would just remove Disney Plus as well, and just, again, go back to Netflix, or if they want to put, I probably put some of your stuff on physical media too. I would do that too, because people are going out and collecting this stuff. I see it all the time. All of these stores are not carrying a lot of this stuff anymore. Trust me, when they were carrying it, people were in the aisles all the time buying the stuff. Actually, now that they've replaced books and all that with a lot of these physical media stuff, I've been kind of noticing the aisles are not as, packed anymore. I think people are not buying as many books, People were buying movies, though. I actually have a bunch of books in my room. I need to actually start reading, but because I bought me a bunch of books, but I haven't had time to read them and all that. Got some pretty good ones, but I'm just like I said, it's just like, they're replacing because I think they're trying to force people to subscribe to their platforms. But I'm like, there's only so much, people are going to willingly subscribe to their platform. Plus, the way the economy's going, I'm like, they're going to cut the cord of this stuff. And that's the problem. I think people are just fed up with this stuff. There's too many services. Even Disney Plus, after they threatened people with that lawsuit, I'm sure some people probably forgot about it. But I'm like, there's so many people that have brought that up. And I've seen so many videos pop up of people showing tutorials how to unsubscribe to Disney Plus, because apparently I think they're making it more complicated, is what I heard. I don't know. I don't really pay for the services. I just happen to have them because my family has them. I think basically that's what I've heard. But I'm like, the fact that there's all these videos coming out here, yeah, I think that they definitely don't have as many subs as they say they do and all that, and I think there's definitely some problems going on. And plus, they acquire Fubo TV as their platform too, so they keep acquiring shit. Like I said, they're basically the aims of Hollywood. Basically, they're the aims of Hollywood. They keep acquiring more and more shit, trying to become the next empire. It's not going to work. They're going to end up collapsing, and then I don't think they'll probably end up like Ames. But there's definitely going to have to be some shit that's going to have to change. They need to sell a lot of their stuff off. They need to. That's the problem. They own too much stuff. But I mean, Warner Brothers, I'm fine with them selling stuff off, like some things they don't really need, but like, I think they need to keep some of the stuff, but I think like I think CNN's too damaged. I think they need to just either shut it down or just sell it off. Then you could say, well, they could use it for like news-related stuff, but I'm like, people are getting their news from other sources. People are hardly watching these news outlets anymore. People are getting their sources from other stuff now. Because, people don't trust the news anymore, like, I've said this before, it's like a civil war going on, with politics and all, like, people are even having problems with Fox News and all that, I heard about that, CNN, ABC, news and all that stuff is just like, having issues. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on there either. But, like, I don't know. They could, like, do some stuff there. But I don't think they need to sell off, like, Hanna-Barbera or something like that. They're not, like, that big. But I do think they need to sell off some stuff because they do own a little too much stuff. But I don't think they're going to probably do a lot of that. I mean, I don't know. They might. I mean, somebody could probably offer to actually buy some of that stuff, too. I don't know. I would say Disney could probably offer to buy some of that, but Disney kind of, had a hard enough time buying Fox, and yeah, they bought, like, Fubo TV and all, and I mean, they could probably buy Adult Swim, but I'm like, I don't know, would that create, like, an antitrust or something, because, would that create an antitrust, and all that they bought Adult Swim? I mean, Adult Swim doesn't really have that many shows on there anymore. I don't know what kind of shows they had. They had a lot of deals with Fox and all that. I guess there are, like, channels like, what was it? Or Comedy Central and all that, too, which is Paramount, but I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just like, there's only so much they could buy. I mean, they could buy some shows off of them, but, like they could buy Looney Tunes. That's something they could probably buy, but, like, are they going to have enough money to do it? I mean, Looney Tunes probably wouldn't be too expensive, but, like, what are they going to do with the Looney Tunes is what, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, Warner Brothers doesn't know what to do with them, and, I mean, they have the Muppets, and they don't know what the hell to do with the Muppets either. I don't even know if even Bob Iger cares about the Muppets. He doesn't care about the Muppets. He just happened to, have them because, the previous CEO, Michael Eisner, I think, was a huge Muppets fan, and he, acquired the Muppets and all under his watch, and then Iger came in and all, and they already had a Muppets. That's the thing with Iger. Iger just feels like he's sitting on a bunch of shit. He doesn't know what to do with it. Instead of selling it off to make money, to help the company out, he'd rather just shut the shit down or, like, run it into the ground, or bury it, pretend it doesn't exist. I don't know, but, I think, though, we're going to have to see where this ends up going to, but, like I said, I think people are I think people are just kind of done with streaming, too, and I think HBO Max getting the HBO part back will be nice. I like to see the purple come back, because the purple was very unique. But I don't know if the purple is going to come back. I think it might just stay black. Because everything has to be colorless now and all that. But speaking of Disney, it would be nice if they could also, like, Disney could, like, go and bring back Walt's name in the movies and all that again. Like, put his name back in there. I doubt they're going to do that. There are people talking about how Iger possibly hates Walt Disney, which, I mean, it kind of feels like that's kind of the case, because, he seems to be kind of erasing a lot of stuff he did, and all that, but even Michael Eisner, too, which is why he probably shut down Touchstone Pictures and all that, and Hollywood Pictures, because when he became the CEO, he made a lot of stupid decisions. He shut down, like, Playhouse Disney and replaced it with Disney Junior and all that. Like the Disney we knew, from, like 20 years ago. Actually, would it be? Yeah, it'd be about 20 years ago now. That Disney is very hard to recognize now, and that's saying something. 20 years ago may seem like a long time ago, but, like, it's not like that long ago, and that's basically when he became the CEO. So it's like his 20th year being the CEO, pretty much. I don't remember what month he became the CEO, but he became the CEO at one point. And all that, and yeah, I think he's just kind of erasing stuff there and all that. A lot of people say that David Lasley's doing the same thing with Warner Bros. Yeah, he kind of is, but I think it's more so he doesn't really know what the hell, like, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing and all that, and the company and all that, like, at all. Like, I feel like he's not really meant to be a CEO. I mean, neither is Iger, but, like I said, David Lasley, I think his mind's kind of all over the place with this stuff, where Iger kind of has a set, you know, he wants to be the next freaking Walt Disney, you know, but I don't know. But I know I'm kind of going back and forth on Disney and Warner Brothers in this video, but both companies have collapsed, and both of them are trying to, like, save their asses by, like, combining their services together and all that, and that's kind of why I'm bringing up both companies in this video, because I'm just like, I mean, some people, like I said, are probably tired of me talking about Disney. I kind of am too, but I'm like, you know, I'm just like, that's kind of what it feels like. That said, though, I mean, I'm happy at least that Warner Brothers at least is bringing back their HBO to their platform again, you know, but, I mean, at the same time, I kind of wish, you know, they would just shut it down, but at least, you know, they're you know, making some improvements, you know. I wish more, like, we could get more good news like this. But that said, that's pretty much all the good news. Not a lot of good news, but, like, it's better than nothing. Better than just talking about bad news all the time. But anywho, I gotta go ahead and let things go from here. I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful day. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments below. Anywho, bye-bye.